Hello and welcome everyone to the latest episode of Techcyte's webinar series, Pioneers in Digital Pathology. Today's webinar is titled Interoperability in Action, Voice-Enabled Digital Pathology on Techcyte Fusion. I am so excited to jointly welcome with Dr. Chen, our Chief Medical Officer, two of our partners from the Techcyte Fusion Partner Program at VoiceBrook, David Colangelo and Andrew Boucher. I'll give a little introduction about each of them right now. We're so grateful for their willingness to participate today. David has been with VoiceBrook many years. He leads and expands their strategic partnerships across the pathology informatics ecosystem, including collaborations with AP system vendors, digital pathology platforms, and AI technology providers. He's got more than 25 years of experience in global business development and managing strategic partnerships. He's expanded the market presence across North America, Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and Australia. David focuses on building high-impact collaborations that advance innovation and workflow efficiency in modern pathology laboratories. You'll get to hear from David here in a few minutes. And Andrew Boucher is Business Development Engineer at VoiceBrook. Andrew manages strategic partnerships and develops integrations between VoiceBrook's pathology reporting solutions and leading digital pathology platforms like Techcyte. With more than 12 years of experience implementing and optimizing clinical software and pathology environments, Andrew specializes in translating real-world laboratory workflows into reliable technical solutions. He works closely with vendors, pathologists, and IT teams to streamline reporting workflows and improve efficiency, accuracy, and usability in the pathology lab. For those who have participated in our webinars in the past, and this is our 25th, this is a neat milestone today. I'll just give you a quick preview of what's to come. I'll briefly introduce Techcyte for some of our new viewers, and then I'll turn the time to Dr. Chen, who will give a brief introduction around Techcyte Fusion AP. That is Techcyte's solution for the AP histology and cytology sides of the house. Then we'll turn the time to David and Andrew, who will introduce VoiceBrook and talk about and demo the actual workflow within the Techcyte Fusion platform and how VoiceBrook's deep integration allows for efficiency and accuracy, some of those workflow gains that were mentioned in the introduction. So briefly, a bit about Techcyte. Techcyte's been around now 13 years. We were a technology transfer or IP out of the University of Utah and ARUP laboratories. We've got team members in several countries and over 20 US states, and we are among the most scaled digital pathology platforms globally, with solutions across anatomic and clinical pathology or lab medicine, in addition to environmental and veterinary laboratory solutions. We have done millions of diagnoses or assistive diagnoses using our AI platform with thousands of customers in dozens of countries. In building a platform that services both AP and CP, Techcyte has many solutions that we have co-developed with Mayo Clinic, with ARUP Laboratories, and as we have co-developed these and built some of our own in-house, we have solutions across histology, cytology, microbiology, hematology. And when we talk about our digital pathology platform or Techcyte Fusion, it is more than just an image management system. We really do incorporate AI, we integrate into your workflow to actually drive efficiency and accuracy gains. And it's been really wonderful to learn from our customers and partner with them to ensure we are actually driving value via the Techcyte platform. From a regulatory standpoint, I want to mention that our platform is research use only in the United States. We have several CE markings in the EU, as well as in the UK, several UKCA certifications. A little bit of housekeeping for today's webinar. We do welcome your comments or questions in the chat anytime. We do have dedicated time for Q&A at the end, and we'll do our best to address those. And as you drop those in, we will be monitoring them in real time. So we look forward to your input and feedback. Today's webinar will also be available for on-demand later, and so you'll be able to access this content. Again, welcome to today's latest episode in our series. I'll turn the time to Dr. Chen for Techcyte Fusion AP.
Thanks so much, Jacob, and thank you all for joining me today. So before we jump into Fusion AP, I really want to ground this in what practicing pathology actually looks like today. So let's just go over a couple challenges that pathologists face. And most of us are really working across a lot of different systems. So we have our LIS, our EHR, our PACS, our IMS or image management systems, and sometimes even separate tools for grossing or archive slides. And the reality of it is all this data becomes really fragmented. So we're constantly switching between applications, logging in and out, pulling different pieces of information together just to make a single diagnosis for our patients. And on top of that, there's still a mix of analog and digital workflows. So we may be waiting on recuts, stains, and consults, and communication may be happening through email, through phone, or even through sticky notes. And then at the end of that, we're still manually generating reports. So it really isn't just inefficient, it creates friction at every step along this workflow. And that really was the motivation for us to create our Fusion AP product. So what Fusion does is we bring all of these elements together into a single unified platform. And instead of jumping between systems, everything will live in one place: your images, your case data, your reporting, your communication, and even the AI. And most importantly, this isn't built just for pathologists, because we understand that it takes an entire ecosystem of histotechs, lab admins, trainees, IT, pathologists, support staff, and even our clinicians and surgeons. Everyone is interacting with the case in their own way. And from a workflow perspective, you can go from case review to ordering stains to collaboration to reporting, all within the same environment. And this integrates directly with existing systems like LIS and the EHR, so we're not asking labs to rip and replace what they already have. And we also ensure that patient safety is in play by ensuring that everything is context synced. And then layered on top of that is AI, which we really believe is how we derive value for digital pathology. And that's AI that's either Techcyte developed or even third-party AI or even home-developed AI. All of this can be used to actually augment the workflow and not just digitize it. So from here, I just want to cover a couple of the main Fusion features. I've gone over the Fusion platform a few times in this webinar series. So if you're interested in getting a deeper dive, we have our previously recorded webinars, or please feel free to reach out as well, and we can do a deep dive of exactly what Fusion offers today. But I'll just focus on a couple of select features today. So the first one that I really want to highlight is the viewer. So the viewer is ultra fast, and it supports everything from standard pathology slides to fluorescence and even viewing other types of images. And the second one is reporting, and that's something that we'll talk about more today with our relationship with Voicebrook. And our reporting feature is fully integrated with the LIS with support for CAP synoptic templates, ICCR templates, custom templates, macros, so you're not duplicating work here. And the third one is really interoperability. So we support all major scanners through DICOM, and we can also integrate both Techcyte and also third-party developed AI. And then there's the workspace itself. It's browser-based, supports multi-monitor setups because we know pathologists and users all have their own preferences when it comes to their day-to-day setup. And it's really designed to feel natural for how pathologists actually work. And lastly, we know pathologists collaborate with each other, whether they work on cases together, or they present to their colleagues, or they communicate with the lab admin and lab staff. So whether that's through tumor boards, consults, internal messaging, all of that is built directly into the platform. So like Jacob mentioned, we're not just a viewer. For us, we see this as an end-to-end workspace for pathology. So I really wanted to highlight the ultra-fast viewer. So what we've heard over and over again is that one of the biggest pain points is how slow digital pathology can feel. And going digital should not make you feel like you're slowing down your day-to-day workflow. And that's where Fusion is meaningfully different. So we're loading images about 3 times faster than typical cloud viewers. And in many cases, you're getting full resolution images instantly. So not waiting for tiles to render. And that might sound like a small thing when you look at the difference in times, but when you multiply that across every slide of every case and every day, it really adds up to a significant amount of time saved. And it also just feels better to use. The interface is clean, you're seeing more tissue, and you're not fighting the system while you're trying to make a diagnosis. And importantly, this performance is really comparable to on-premise solutions, but really this is a solution delivered through the cloud. And then today we want to focus in on our integration with VoiceBrook. So I'll just touch on reporting real quick. So reporting is fully built into Fusion. So you can generate everything from grossing reports to frozen section reports to final case reports directly within the platform. And what's really important here is a lot of this data can be pre-populated from the LIS or from the EHR, so you're not really re-entering information as well. And like I said before, we support different types of templates and synoptic reports, whether they're from CAP or ICCR. So we ensure that there's standardized reporting, and labs can also customize their own templates and macros as well. You can link annotations and measurements directly to report elements, which can help with traceability. And then this is also where VoiceBrook comes in. By enabling voice-enabled dictation directly into the workflow, we're further reducing friction. So you're not switching tools, you're dictating, editing, and finalizing reports all within the same environment. So the goal for us is really simple. We want to reduce manual work, we want to reduce context switching, and we want to let pathologists truly focus on the diagnostic decision-making. And with that, I'll hand it over to the VoiceBrook team so they can walk through how this actually works in practice.
Dr. Chen, thank you. And hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session. I'm excited to be here with Techcyte, and as a valued strategic partner, we've really enjoyed working with their team. My name is Dave Colangelo, and I'll provide a brief introduction to VoiceBrook and the role reporting workflow plays in modern pathology before Andrew takes us through a live demonstration of voice over PRO. VoiceBrook has been focused exclusively on anatomic pathology since founding in 2002. We don't build solutions for other medical specialties, which allows us to design our software specifically around the way pathologists and pathology teams work. Today, VoiceBrook solutions are used in more than 500 pathology sites across the United States and Canada, supporting laboratories ranging from community hospitals to large academic medical centers. As most of you know, pathology laboratories are operating under increasing pressure. Workforce shortages are making it harder to recruit pathologists and experienced laboratory staff, while case complexity and documentation requirements continue to grow. At the same time, reimbursement pressures are forcing laboratories to find new ways to improve efficiency without increasing staffing levels. One of the most important places labs can address these challenges is in the reporting workflow. And that's where VoiceBrook and Voice over PRO come in. Voice over PRO is a speech-enabled platform designed to streamline the process of reviewing cases, capturing findings, and generating structured reports. Rather than functioning as basic speech recognition, Voice over PRO automates key steps in the reporting process through structured templates, intelligent validation, decision support, and workflow automation, helping pathologists reduce manual navigation and maintain consistent, high-quality documentation. Voice over PRO integrates broadly across the pathology ecosystem, including AP LIS platforms, digital pathology systems, and emerging AI tools. We've also partnered with the College of American Pathologists since 2010 to incorporate CAP electronic cancer protocols directly into the reporting workflow. Ultimately, our goal is simple: to make pathologists work faster, more accurately, and more focused on what truly matters, the diagnosis. One area where we've especially been excited is in the growing role of digital pathology. As slide review moves into digital environments, it becomes increasingly important that reporting tools integrate seamlessly into that workflow. That's exactly what we've done with Techcyte Fusion. By integrating Voice over PRO directly into the digital pathology environment, pathologists can navigate cases, interact with slides, and complete reporting tasks using voice, reducing the friction that typically occurs between slide review and report creation. Talking about integration is one thing, but seeing how it works in practice is another. With that, I'll turn it over to Andrew, who will walk us through a live demonstration of how VoiceOver PRO and Techcyte Fusion integrate together in the digital pathology workflow.
All right. Thank you, David, for that great introduction. Excuse me. All right, as has been said a few times already today, pathologists deal with a lot of systems throughout their day. Their LIS, their digital pathology viewers, their reporting tools, their email. Each one requires lots of clicks, navigation, lots of context switching. VoiceOver PRO is designed to simplify those interactions and automate key parts of the reporting workflow so that pathologists can stay focused on their diagnostic work instead of managing software interfaces. Before I start with my demonstration, let's just do a quick overview of the elements that make up VoiceOver PRO. On the top of the screen is the VoiceOver toolbar. This is where users control the microphone and access administrative tools. For dictation, I'll be using a Philips speech mic handheld microphone. The record button turns the microphone on and off, and other buttons can be tied to custom commands. Lastly, under my desk is a foot pedal that can also be used to control the microphone state. Now let's get into the demonstration. I'll start by showing some basic workflow automation that we've enabled directly in Techcyte Fusion. Let's start here in the work list. While Techcyte has made it very simple to access a case from here, if you don't feel like grabbing your mouse, you can simply say the case prefix followed by the numbers at the end of the accession number. So as I'll demonstrate, FS12846. Oops. Just a quick sec. FS12846. There we go. All right, so that command finds that case in the work list and opens up the case into the slide viewer. Now that we've got the slide open, let's focus on some commands that we've put together for interacting with the slide, starting with a few very simple interactions. Zoom 20x, Zoom 4x. Okay, so as you can see there, the zoom commands control the magnification of the slide, just like coming into this pull down and making a selection would. Pan right, pan down. So panning commands can be used to navigate the slide image, just like grabbing the mouse and dragging the mouse around to manipulate the slide. Lastly, add ellipse, add measurement, oops. Add measurement. All right, so these types of commands allow the pathologist to manipulate the slide without taking their eyes off of the specimen, with the overall goal of reducing cognitive load. So PRO can also be used to navigate between slides and cases while you're in this viewer. Next slide. Previous slide. Next case. Previous case. All right. So these commands may seem simple, but over the course of the day, over the course of dozens of cases a day, eliminating these clicks can add up significantly. Now, outside of slide interactions, voice commands are also available to explore different tabs within the case. Any tab available on the screen can be opened by voice. So as a quick example, show case editor, show slides, show annotations. All right, VoiceOver can automate much more than single-click functionality, though. Two examples that should save a lot of clicks for the end user are a quality control workflow and a stain ordering workflow that we've developed. Let's start with the quality control. Fusion has a quality tab where users document issues with a digital slide if there's an artifact or some sort of scanning issue. User can either say that the slide passes QC or that it failed for one reason or another. To document QC, the user has to open up the quality tab, make one of these selections and close the tab, which is not a lot of steps, but with VoiceOver, all you have to do to document QC is say QC pass, QC lack of tissue. All right. And as you saw, the process executes really quickly and leaves the user back on the slide with just one voice command. Stain ordering is another process that can take multiple clicks and keyboard interactions to accomplish, especially if ordering multiple stains. So with Voice over PRO, a user can order stains against Fusion, again, with just one single voice command. Let's take a look at two different examples. Order CD3. Okay, so that command opened up the request window down here, defaulted in stain request, found our CD3 in the list, and clicked create request. Let's try another one. Order melanoma panel. Okay, so that second command shows that we can define custom stain panels and tie them to voice commands, even if those aren't necessarily defined in the system. Lastly, let's take a look at how VoiceOver can be used to complete report elements in Fusion. Fusion has a report tab that can be used to enter a CAP checklist for a cancer case on this, in this case that we've got open. Pathologists that implement VoiceOver PRO get access to our voice-enabled CAP checklist through the use of our tool called Report Builder. I'll bring it up by saying insert checklist. Now let me just adjust my screen so that, okay. Now, this command launches Report Builder against the current case and displays a list of all of the available CAP checklists in the panel on the left. You can make a selection either with the mouse or by saying the green phrase associated with it. I'm going to use the colon and rectum resection. Okay. Now that the checklist is inserted, let's review some key aspects of Report Builder. First, text is shown in either black or purple. We refer to purple text as annotative, and it can consist of either unanswered questions or notes to the pathologist, like at the top where the protocol is displayed, protocol version. As questions are answered, they'll change from purple to black to indicate completion. Any text still in purple at the end of the process will be stripped out of the report before being transferred into Fusion. Each question in the checklist has either a red /O or a purple plus sign to the left of the field. The red /O indicates that a field is required by CAP. The purple plus sign indicates an optional question. Users can navigate through template fields using a number of mechanisms, including hardware controls like on my handheld device, right and left foot pedal buttons, or via voice commands next to item or next required, the latter of which navigates only through required elements. As the user moves through the checklist, the context panel will show information. The context panel here on the left will show information about the highlighted field, including the question that we're on, a link to the CAP protocol, which will open up there. Sometimes there are also links to individual notes in a protocol that might be available via hyperlink. And then the pick list answers themselves as defined by CAP. I'll go ahead and answer a few questions so you can get a sense for how this works. Right? Right? There we go. A little delay. Not applicable. Ascending. Next required. Yep. Adenocarcinoma. Next required. G3. Greatest. Okay, so I'm going to stop here at this tumor size question because I want to refer back to the measurement annotation that we created on the slide within Fusion. We created a measurement, and if we look in the annotations here, this is that measurement field. Now, instead of having to go back and find that measurement, figure out what the actual value was, and then dictate it or type it into the report builder, we've developed commands where we can just pull the value of an annotation directly into your report. Use annotation 2. So that was 1.46 centimeters. Well, yeah. Okay, so excuse me. So not only does that remove some steps, but it also helps ensure complete accuracy of your measurements in your report. Another thing worth noting is that while Report Builder is open, let me just go ahead and move this. While Report Builder is open, speech is anchored to that window so that a pathologist can keep interacting with their slide while using their mouse without having to worry about positioning the cursor back into the report to continue the checklist. PRO also lets you seamlessly switch back and forth between dictating commands and dictating and voice commands on the fly. Let's just do a quick example here. Next required. Not applicable. Add measurement. Oops, I messed up my measurement. Sorry about that. Add measurement. Next required. I skipped that. All right. So, and a pathologist doesn't have to use voice for everything. This is a multi-dimensional reporting tool that has the ability to interact with the keyboard and mouse, with voice commands, with other mechanisms. Now, another thing the last thing I'd like to point out is that Report Builder will automatically calculate PT&M staging as you answer questions in the checklist. If I scroll down here, you'll see that based on how I've answered this checklist so far, it's classified this as a PTIS. If I were to go back up and change the tumor extent to something else, you'll see that calculation continue to adjust itself as appropriate. This will happen in PT and PN across all of our checklists, and in PM in most of our checklists, depending on the structure of the checklist. All right, so to save us time, you don't have to watch me go through the entire rest of the checklist. Let's pretend that it's complete. At this point, I've got to get this checklist back into Fusion now. So I'm going to use the command send checklist. All right. So this opens up the report tab, sends the checklist contents into the, oops, my templates are open. That opened the report tab and sent the checklist contents into the appropriate place in Fusion. The last thing that I'd like to mention here today is that while Report Builder's demo so far focused on generating only the contents of the CAP checklist, if you have full reporting capabilities configured in Fusion, or if your lab uses a separate LIS for report generation, then PRO can be used to complete the entirety of the report. Let's bring back Report Builder using a different command, dictate diagnosis. Okay. As you can see here, Report Builder can be configured to dictate the entirety of a report, not just a CAP checklist. I'll just do a quick demonstration of dictating the diagnosis here. Colon, comma, sigmoid, comma, biopsy. Next item. Tubular adenoma. Next part. Colon, comma, ascending, comma, resection. Oops, had a timing issue there. Colon, comma, ascending, comma, resection. Next item. Adenocarcinoma, comma, C checklist. Insert colon rectum resection checklist. Okay. So similar how to the checklist contents were sent into Fusion, PRO can interact with the entirety of the report and send the individual report elements back to where they go, either in Fusion if that's available to you, or in another LIS if you're still using a hybrid approach. All right, so in just a few minutes, we've moved from opening a case, interacting with slides, ordering stains, and completing report elements while using voice commands and automation. The goal of Voice over PRO is simple: reduce clicks, reduce distractions, and allow pathologists to stay focused on the diagnostic work that matters the most. With that, I will end the screen share and pass it back to Jacob to see if there are any questions.
Andrew, that is super cool to see the live demo. I really enjoyed just seeing you dictate and use the tools. Love it. Let's welcome everybody back to the stage now. Really appreciate Andrew, David, and Dr. Chen today. We do have several questions, so we'll jump right in, team. Kelly asked, what type of dictation devices can we use?
That's a great question. So we have a handful of dictation devices that we support, including the Philips speech mic that I'm using today. We use a desktop boom mic. There are Bluetooth headsets like the one that I'm wearing for this call. And then we're always looking for new devices that can be used to with our product. We like to make sure that they have very high audio quality so that recognition is great.
I have a lot of piano players at my house, Andrew. So when I was hearing you talk about your foot and tapping on it, it sounds cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Kyle asked, is it necessary to have the dictation open side by side?
It is not. For the sake of the demo, I did side by side so that we could see both interactions at the same time. Typically, most of our pathologists will implement so that one screen has their report, one screen has their slide, or any sort of combination like that.
Lindsay asked, what does the report look like after using the dictation tool?
Good question. So the way that we handle formatting is Report Builder has what's called a style sheet sitting on top of it, where we define what is the font size and characteristics of the diagnosis, the gross, the microscopic, any other data section that you're interacting with. And so we work with each site that we implement to set up that exact customization based on their current requirements. And then in what we do, just like we did when I sent the checklist contents from Report Builder into Fusion, we render that report as flat text and get it back into the appropriate places in the report. So what the end result should be is that the report should look like how your reports look today, just assembled in a different way.
That's helpful. Thank you. This is an interesting one. Who is responsible for troubleshooting between the VoiceBrook and Fusion integration? I think I'll take a first crack, and then I'm sure others have more to add. VoiceBrook is a esteemed partner within the Techcyte Fusion Partner Program, and so our Techcyte Fusion customers would reach out to Techcyte directly for Tier 1 support, and then as needed, we would escalate and work with VoiceBrook with any issues. Any other comments from the team?
Yeah, so if it has to do with the scripting that we've put together, maybe Techcyte has changed something and we need to change our code to adapt to it. Typically, we're going to know that in advance because of our partnership, but just in case something happens, we maintain all of our code. So a quick call to our support team should turn around a quick code adaptation. We can expose our code to customers if they're familiar with our code or with our scripting language. That's not usually very common, but it is an option as well.
Thank you. That's helpful. This is a practical one. How is VoiceBrook billed? Is it a monthly subscription?
We do annual subscriptions. Typically, we do three-year or 5-year annual subscriptions. David, I don't know if you want to add more to that.
No, that's exactly right.
Great. Liz is asking, what training is required or would you offer if we added voice dictation?
Yeah, that's a great question. We like to do kind of hip-to-hip training. So our projects typically look like a build phase where we remotely build out our integration. We do UAT with a handful of key users to make sure that they're happy with the with what we put together. And then when it comes to go live, we are on site for the entirety of the go live with a handful of trainers. We like to do a 2-hour training session that includes live dictation, where we can kind of just sit at your hip and make sure that you're comfortable with the product. And then we also do follow-up visits or follow-up trainings during that week. And then we typically come out 6 to 8 weeks later as well and just do a follow-up visit to check in and see how people are doing. Maybe train some new features, maybe put together some new features if people are interested in something else that we might be able to do for them. We're able to be very nimble with feature creation because we have a coding platform built into our product that allows us to kind of create features as we come up with them.
Some good additional color. I'm going to take 2 more questions. We have a couple more we'll follow up with offline. This first one would be, I think, more for Dr. Chen and Techcyte, and then we'll end with one to Andrew and David. Dr. Chen, what makes Fusion's AI approach different from maybe other digital pathology platforms out there?
Sure, yeah, that's a great question. So what we've done with Fusion is really fundamentally different when it comes to our approach with AI. Firstly, it's fully integrated. So that means AI sits directly within the case workflow. So from the image viewing to reporting, the AI is already built in. So you're not actually having to click out into a separate system to pull results back. Secondly, kind of ties with the first one, it's open and interoperable. So we don't support just Techcyte AI, but we also support algorithms that are developed by other vendors or even by home institutions as well that are developing their own AI. So labs really aren't locked into a single vendor, and you can choose from the marketplace or come to us with an AI vendor that you're interested in trying out. And thirdly, our approach is workflow first, not necessarily algorithm first. So we know there are a lot of algorithm point products, but ultimately they fit into a greater workflow. So for us, the goal really isn't generating a single output that pathologists can see. We believe that, integrating AI should help make the overall workflow even smoother across the entire diagnostic process. So how we see that is we have this thing called Techcyte flows. So we are able to pull in AI results in a way to help you evaluate your case smoothly, so that an example would be looking at IHCs. It's a smooth experience that helps you with the overall case, and it's not just showing you a single number that you then have to plug into the workflow downstream. So our focus is really making AI usable day to day, and also AI that's seamlessly integrated within your day-to-day workflow.
Multi-prong approach, I like it. Okay, this last one for our VoiceBrook partners, maybe Dave. Interesting question. Where do you see at VoiceBrook maybe the fastest return on the investment? Is it save time? Is it maybe staffing, not needing to rehire or things like that? Is it throughput?
It's a great question. I guess we're consistently seeing the fastest return around the pathologist efficiency and reporting workflow. Specifically, reducing time spent on dictation, navigation, manual data entry. Those minutes add up across every case. And when you streamline that, you get immediate gains in throughput without adding staff. The second area would be turnaround time, especially when you remove friction between the systems, whether that's image viewing, reporting, or LIS interaction. And certainly AI can help with detection and prioritization, but the quickest ROI today tends to come from optimizing the workflow around the pathologist, where you're going to get measurable time savings almost immediately.
I think we saw that demonstrated live pretty handily by Andrew today. It was cool that they get pretty accustomed to that voice dictation and can crank through those. So, well, to Dave and Andrew, our partners at VoiceBrook, we really appreciate your time and engagement and the partnership as a whole. And to our viewers, we really appreciate you reaching out, learning more. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, including if you want to do a three-way call with us at VoiceBrook or our partners. We're happy to do any of that. Again, we appreciate everyone's participation in the latest episode of the Pioneers in Digital Pathology webinar series from Techcyte, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.